So I wanted to actually go on to talk about another institution that's failing and hectoring its people, and this time through a television show that actually, when it relaunched, well, put it this way, it's such an institution in my personal family that my mother grew up watching it, terrified by it, and I grew up watching it and absolutely loved it. And it's a television show on aliens and the galactic world, I guess. And it features Daleks and a certain
Mm.
doctor. Now, the BBC brought it back in what, 2005, something like that. And they had Christopher Eccleston, they had David Tennant, they had Matt Smith, they had a slew of people. And then things started to, more recently, over recent years, go a bit pear-shaped. And they brought in a woman. They said the doctor has to be a woman now. So therefore, the doctor was a lesbian. And then they said, oh, well, the doctor has to be black after this, of course. So the doctor's black, but the doctor is now a black homosexual. A black gay man plays the doctor, who sings now. The doctor has never starred in a musical.
Gay. He's a theatre
He's
gay.
a theatre gay now. And the BBC, in this latest release, season 14 it is, starring Mr. Gatwa, and he is from Netflix's Sex Education, and he's one of these, he's probably non-binary or something like that, right? As well as being homosexual. And it says here, and I was reading this earlier, and I said, I'm not bloody well surprised. I don't want the doctor to sing at me. I don't want the doctor to suddenly be like, oh, trans lives matter, because there are trans people in it now as well, right? And anyway, it says, the first two episodes from returning showrunner Russell T Davies, who seems absolutely adamant, by the way, to absolutely destroy Doctor Who. As I say, it goes back all the way from my mother's generation to my own generation. It's been in the childhoods of both of us. And it says the first episode was watched by 2.6 million viewers, while episode 2 was watched by 2.4 million. Now, it says, while these figures seem relatively low for the beloved sci-fi series and are partly justified by the mini heatwave hitting the UK at the weekend, they leave out a significant portion of the audience. I don't think it was the heatwave, mate. I think it was the fact that the BBC and Russell T Davies are basically shoving a spoonful of whackery and wokery down the mouths of those who just want to lose themselves in the realm of fantasy, in the realm of the classics that they've been brought up with. Why can you not? Like, I'm on the side of the Daleks now. I'm saying exterminate, exterminate. I want this gone. I don't want to watch this crap.
Can I say, Darren?
Absolutely.
I'm a big sci-fi fan. I love Star Wars. I used to love Lord of the Rings. I used to. Let's just put this plain. They used to. This is not just happening to Doctor Who. It's happening everywhere. I mean, the new Star Wars trailer just got more downvotes than upvotes on YouTube. I think it was exceptionally downvoted.
Oh, look, that's a drag queen, by the way. They're from RuPaul's Drag Race. I forgot to mention that. Sorry, Alex.
I mean, no, it's just such a shame, because these shows used to have some significance to people who wanted to escape the reality.
Exactly.
Escape daily bullshit politics, excuse my French, sorry. But they just want to get away and chill out for an hour. Instead, they're reminded that, oh, sorry, white straight people, this wasn't invented for you. Well, who was it invented for then? Because that was the target audience.
Well, let me put that to Chloe. Heather's written in, and Heather says, and that's why I stopped watching it when they start shoving that crap down my throat. I love Doctor Who, and now they've ruined it. I agree, Heather. But I have to say, though, this article, by the way, the Metro wrote this piece that Alex has just mentioned, and the Metro actually deleted their Twitter account subsequently because they got such a pile on, and rightly so. But I have to have Chloe respond to this, because this author is written about Doctor Who. And she says, sorry, straight white men, Doctor Who was never made just for you. Well, I'm sorry, my love.
And it wasn't made just for you either.
The 1960s is when it was made. The 1960s was a Britain that looked vastly different from Britain today, and you didn't have people running around saying, you know, I'm gender queer and all of these other new woke fads. It's just, it's a repulsive arrogance and entitlement that says that to be a straight white man that enjoys Doctor Who is to commit a cardinal sin. Chloe.
Yeah, I mean, it is absolutely arrogant and ridiculous. I think it is arrogant to assume that someone who is, you know, regardless of the makeup of Britain, be it mostly white or mostly black, whatever it may be, it is absolutely disingenuous to just assume that someone who is a person of colour doesn't enjoy to watch a TV show that is entertaining, that has white actors in it.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it does not matter the colour of their
Or
skin.
an audience.
I know what makes a TV show good to watch and makes it get good figures is that it's got a great storyline, it's gripping, the cinematography is great, and all of these things. Why can't the BBC go back to focusing on those things? You know, this is so upsetting for us, and I'm sure so many of the people watching this, because this was a childhood favourite for so many of us.
Oh, yeah. I am upset by it. I really am.
I'm so upset. I grew up on Doctor Who. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. And the
Who
BBC,
was your Doctor, Chloe?
David Tennant was the one that I always
yeah.
watched when I was younger. The David Tennant, Billy Piper days. And, you know, the BBC, although I know that us lot often slam them mostly for BBC News, over the years, you know, their other television shows have been absolutely fantastic, and they've made some brilliant television and been a great institution in that sense. And it's a shame to see the BBC sort of losing its amazing skills to make great television, because now they're so focused on hitting diversity targets rather than actually focusing on making great, entertaining, gripping television that everyone wants to watch.
And it's the same story.
What the color of the skin is of the actors. Just make good telly, for God's sake.
Exactly. It's the same story with BBC comedy. You know, Wild in the Woods on YouTube has just said the same thing. We don't even have good comedy anymore. You know, what happened to the likes of Ali G and Little Britain? Well, they would simply just not be made anymore. And
well, Little Britain's banned, so.
But it gets us into the reason I've done this story after the National Trust story is because there's a narrative here, isn't there? There's these beloved institutions who have been captured by this DEI woke narrative, this critical race theory that says that, you know, you to be a straight white man enjoying something is really repugnant and has to be challenged at every twist and turn. Now, if you're picking up a copy of the Metro on your bus to work, on your way to work, whatever it might be, and you read an article like that, it's just it's unnecessarily divisive. And I get accused of that, Alex. But I don't write really stories like this.
Well, this is the thing. I don't understand why this big push to drive away audiences the same way the National Trust are driving away their membership exists. I mean, the Metro can write what they want, and they've obviously done it to wind up people and get clicks, because, you know, people don't read the Metro anymore. Even Londoners don't. Well, exactly, but even Londoners don't read the Metro. But I guess, you know, this is the world we live in now, and until British people stop interacting and stop engaging with newspapers like that, they will go bust, because you know what the famous phrase is: go woke, go broke. And Doctor Who,
indeed.
again, who had its lowest viewing figures ever, I think, on its first night, it just going to goes to show. And if the BBC want to keep their license and spend millions of pounds on these shows, well, they're going to have to find a new stream of income, because people are just going to switch it off.
Yeah, I mean, Dan Wooten said the BBC's incessant and infuriating wokery has killed off Doctor Who. Just 2.6 million watched the hyped debut, and it really was, by the way. They were like, we've got a Netflix star, we're changing things up, it's going to be fresh, it's going to be interesting, no whiteys, and all of these other things. Saying, even with the streaming revolution, Dan points out, that's a very clear message from fans, because they could tune in whenever they wanted. Right.
I really hope this is a message for people producing other famous British shows like James Bond, for example, where there's been lots of rumor of you know, making James Bond woke, or woke Bond, whatever you want to call it. And look, I hope they look at the figures. And Lord of the Rings is another example. That TV show, they spent, I think, $1 billion on that on Amazon Prime. Absolutely bombed, and they've got another season coming out, and I can guarantee you, if they haven't learnt their lessons, that's going to bomb as well, if it hasn't already got rid of half their audience.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm surprised that businesses and institutions haven't woken up already. I mean, a few of them maybe
well, the
are, but
BBC doesn't need to,
we
right?
see that's true, but there are other institutions that are genuine businesses who actually rely on people taking interest in buying their products to make money, and they still keep falling for this. And we've had the huge Bud Light thing, we had issues with Nike, Victoria's Secret, and all sorts, all losing a load of money because of this woke crap. Yet a load of people are still continuing with it. I mean, and we had that comment earlier from one of the viewers claiming that McKinsey, the big consultancy firm, is advising businesses still. People pay McKinsey a lot of money to give them business advice. You'd think that McKinsey would lose its reputation if it doesn't pay off and make them money, but how is this stuff still continuing? I mean, hopefully soon everyone will realize that for certain this is a massive money loser and will stop doing it. I really hope so.
I'm just going to read out some of the comments because I did promise I would. Ruggy Rug says the BBC's got an absolute audacity to think they can ram this crap down our throats and expect us to pay for it. Absolutely right. Angle says on YouTube, Tom Baker, Pertwee and Chris Eccleston, good doctors to Angle. And Slim liked Tom Baker. It's good to see you again, Slim. I didn't know you were here. And Rosalie says that Chloe takes good sense, unless you're misgendering me, Rosalie, and then there's going to be problems between you and I, Rosalie. I'm just kidding. And so they said you must have been asleep when he did his season. Is that David Tennant? Eccleston has no screen pairs. There's an argument going on about doctors in the chat. So Wild in the Wood said, I'd be okay with Chloe Bond. Well, that's a turn up for the books.
Hey,
let's do it. Let's make a film.
Absolutely.
Chloe Bond, definitely.
Have you got what it takes to be a reasoned presenter? Well, send us a short clip of yourself to join@reasoned.uk and we might be seeing you on this very channel very soon indeed.